Welcome back to Athletic Everyday, day number 319. We've got full approach vertical jumps here for you on the agenda, and then follow up with some front squats at the end. Full approach vertical jumps are kind of like the main thrust of what I'm trying to improve with my training at the moment. My main issue with my vertical jump and what's limiting me with actually maximizing it at the moment is that I can't translate my horizontal force into a vertical impulse. So I'm pretty fast, like I'm not slow by any means, and I'm not, a massively fast sprinter, but I definitely have some speed in reserve that I could be using to transfer into that vertical impulse as I jump off the ground. So although I can run decently fast and I can accelerate pretty well, I can't get that to translate well into my vertical jump. My jump technique and also just the ability of my legs to be able to stop that momentum, the horizontal momentum, and then basically not reverse it, but to transfer that I keep on reusing the phrase, but to transfer that horizontal momentum. So my horizontal displacement, my horizontal velocity and speed, to translate that and then basically stop it and then just put the brakes on and just go straight upwards. That's, I would argue, is probably one of the abilities that I lack the most with regards to my vertical jump. So anyway, regards to this workout, this barrier that I'm trying to touch here, this height barrier, is pretty much bang on 10 feet tall. So I'm basically just trying to clip it with the highest point on my hand I possibly can, while also trying to focus on getting to my maximum control velocity, so the maximum speed that I can reach before taking off. But you'll notice that with my technique, what I often do quite frequently is that I'll sort of slow down on that sort of third step before I take off. So I'm not actually accelerating through the entirety of the approach. Although it feels like in the moment when I'm doing it, I am accelerating and I'm going faster. Watching this back on videos is almost kind of cringeworthy because it just looks so sort of uncoordinated. It doesn't really feel like I'm jumping to the best of my ability, which means that I need to work on the technique a lot more. But obviously I'm blessed to have even this in my parking garage, just, like down the flight of stairs next to my apartment. So very lucky to have this. And it's also just so happens to be 10 feet, which is perfect. Then after that, I did a couple of jump variety drills, just knee up jumps into vertical jumps, trying to see how high I could jump here. What's interesting about this is that even with a shorter approach, I'm still jumping the same height, which again lends credence to the theory that I can't actually jump that well, or I can't make the most of the velocity when I jump. So that just goes to show that I need to work on my approach jump and converting some of that horizontal velocity into vertical impulse to help me to jump higher. Anyway, then I moved into some front squat doubles, worked up to a heavy top set of 120. This was a really tough top set of 120, which goes to show I've lost a little bit of strength because earlier on this year, I was repping out 125 for a set 5, and I'm now struggling to do a set of 2 with 120, which is kind of crazy to see, if we're being honest. But anyway, then I did a couple of back off sets. First back off set with 100 for 6 reps, and then the second back off set with 80 kilograms for 10 reps. Main focus on the back off sets was maintaining a nice vertical torso angle, loading up my legs and not letting my torso angle lean too far forward, become too positive as I push out of the hole. But that's almost an inevitability with my leverages. I've got quite long femurs and a long torso, so naturally that is going to happen for me. So it's just trying to reduce, mitigate, and minimize that as much as possible. What I do notice though, when I get into longer sets, such as this one on the 80 kilos, at the end here, I notice that I actually find it easier to load up my legs to get more fatigued. For whatever reason, I don't know why, but I do find that kind of leaning more forward, my head kind of like pushing my chin forwards as I push out of the hole tends to help me to keep a bit more of an upright torso and load up my quads a little bit more. Could be a technique thing, but I think it's just a leverage thing and also just getting more front squat volume in. Anyway, that is it for today's workout, guys. Appreciate the view, and I'll catch you in the next one.